Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another set of reactions. This is kind of weird saying it this way for this situation, but Gub and my executive producers wants me to get to both of these. They're short enough that I can make them into one video, so this is USAO's So Close, and P-Light and Kobaryo's Luminous something. I forget what the name is. Hold on, been a while. Luminous Bullet. There we are. I had a gap before recording this one. I apologize. Either way, I'm going to be hearing both of these, seeing what they sound like, and of course, giving my opinion. So without further ado, let's go! Very strong start. Why does this sound kind of familiar? Have I heard this? Maybe. It might just be because it's hardcore. There's some similarities between some of them. Hell yeah. Ooh. Okay, gap there. All right, back to it. Oh no, a fake out. How dare you? There we go. That melody really sounds familiar. I love when people throw in screams. Pretty much to any electronic. It just feels good. Woo! Overload. All right. Bold way to end it. That sort of thing at the end isn't something that I find wrong, but it is something where, like, when it happens, I'm like, oh, because it feels like an assault on the senses. That's just me. Not that it's a bad thing. It actually was fairly tame in this case, but there have been points where I've heard songs like that where I'm like, ugh, God, and it's just like the whole song is like that. But this is more tasteful. It's like right at the end, it's like, okay, let's push this as far as we can before the end, and I'm okay with that, honestly. Okay, this first one, kind of fun. I mean, obviously, it has a lot of that hardcore energy, and that is a fun genre just by default. It's a little bit messy for some people. I'm not one of them. I enjoy all of this craziness going on there. It makes my music theory heart aflutter, and I really enjoy hearing what a lot of these producers end up throwing together, because usually it's very interesting applications of a lot of these chord progressions. Like this one is mostly E minor, D, C. I think there might be a B minor in here at some points. Maybe it could be a B too. It's also possible it switches between B minor and B depending on what the song needs, because they both kind of sound right, which does happen a lot. And I also believe that there is a G in here. I'm not sure if it's a low or a high G based on how they use it. I think the way that they do it is that, and then it goes back down to a C, which is a pretty standard chord progression. But again, for hardcore, it's mostly how they get creative with those standard ones. Like that one is a very standard progression. You go up, you drop back down, and it creates a perfect loop coming back up to the center, or you could even start at D from there. So there's room to grow in all of these, and the reason that I love hardcore is due to them just going, haha, but what if I did this? And just kind of throwing the rules at the wall and seeing which ones choose to stick, and then making a song based on that. There's plenty of that going on in this song, pretty much every single hardcore song, and it makes it so much fun to listen to. That is most of the song. Like, I'm not entirely sure about the B minor thing. That's probably the biggest question mark I've got. Everything else seems pretty straightforward. I wonder if there wouldn't be like a D sharp minor in there as well, because that would fit in the key, but it's also like how and why, you know. But that's again the point of these songs, where they get creative with just taking these borrowed chords and adjustments and really just doing whatever the hell they want to, and it's just a blast to listen to. So that's kind of where I'm getting with this one. It's fun. Music theory wise, they're always fun when it comes to hardcore. I don't think I've ever heard a song that wasn't fun in the music theory end for any sort of hardcore producer, and I believe that that's part of the identity of the genre itself. But as far as the general production goes, it's kind of par for the course, exactly what I expected with everything that was happening here, the synths being utilized. I do enjoy that I was faked out at that one point. I love it. Weird. I love getting faked out. Like when there's a good point for a drop, you're like, oh, it's going to happen here. So the producer will hear it and go, no, I don't think so. I know that you're expecting it there, and just push it back a little bit. It's a pretty time-tested fact of just hearing that and making people go, not today, and having to adjust for the song. And it builds that hype. It would probably kill it for some people, but the point is to tease a little bit in EDM a lot of the time. So that's totally within expectation. What wasn't within expectation is whatever that is at the end. I've heard it before. I've heard like that happen in other songs, but I don't know what it is. If that's like a different genre type, or like kind of a meme within the community of just, here, let's crank everything to absolutely obliterate the entirety of the person's ears, and not really, again, in like a bad way in this case. Sometimes it does feel a little bit too much, but again, they balanced it pretty well for this song, so I didn't really have a problem with it. But it was a shock, and I really do wonder if that's done just for the shock value and not really any musical value, because personally I don't think it adds any. But also it's just a matter of like, what is the artist doing? Why are they making this? Is that supposed to be a joke or not at large? Couldn't tell you, but I don't think it was intrusive in this song. But there have been like 5-minute long songs where it's been nothing but that, and that's where I'm like, okay. I mean, now you're just cranking all of the dials in your DAW and just slapping a keyboard and applying it to whatever synth you want to, and that doesn't feel like music to me, you know? It's just that's kind of where the boomer hat gets put on, and I'm like, that's just noise, you know? Like, again, here it's used artistically and I don't mind it, but there have been times where I've heard that and I'm just like, ugh, you know, like, why is that a whole thing? I digress though. That's just me, just my opinion on it. But I do want to hear what P-Light, who I've recently learned about, and Kobaryo, who I've learned about a while ago, what they do together as like a combo, because I can hear them working together already with what I know about their works, even though very little on the P-Light side. So let's see what that song has, shall we? Okay. A slower vibe. I lied. It's like, I know it's hardcore. It's almost never slow. Ooh, unless they do a breakdown drop. Ooh. Okay. It is more chill. They're just balancing it. Ooh. Very nice vocal chopping. I can feel it. What's funny is this almost sounds like more Nintendo coded compared to the last one. It's very bright, very positive. Even with that like breakdown in there, it never lost its heart. Just this chord progression here too. Very bright progression. Ooh. Very nice compressed keys on that final part. I really like how those sounded. It had a little bit of like a twang to it, almost like Toby Fox-esque there at the end. I really like that sample. That was neat. All right, so for this song, definitely a little bit more bright than the last one. It's not that the last one wasn't bright, but that ending definitely soured the overall tone of it. Again, not because of what it did at the end, just the essence of the song kind of sank alongside all that stank. So what we got out of this one was a lot more bubbly, a lot more bright, and again, a little bit more Nintendo coded. I feel weird saying that, but it does have this like childlike quality to it, this sort of like nostalgic vibe that follows this song with how it's played out. And a lot of that are the chords that they picked for this song, because it is mostly in G, and it also uses C and D. And we have this carry of what's similar, funny enough, from the last song, just in a different pattern. And when you surround those chords with different energy, you're going to get a different song. So at one point in this song, I think about halfway through, they actually used basically the same chord progression from that last song, just in a different pattern. So we had like G, D, E minor, and then G again all the way up at the top. So like we had the G down, but then we also had it up here. So we did have that brightness going through. So instead of the that we got in the last song, we just follow it up, and it works out really well. We also do have a little bit of play with this song with that chord set at the end that I really liked, the G, F, and then they G flat it and bring it back up. Really fun. I love that. I think that's what gives it that childish whimsy to me, and I really like that. It's just this bright sound having this half step stuff. It just feels so natural. I don't know why that is entirely. I assume it's just because it's a very like childlike sort of progression, just those single notes following the chords around those baseline notes. It just works, you know? This does kind of work anywhere on the keyboard that there's 3 notes adjacent to each other, like, you know? It doesn't really matter what key you're playing it in. It just has this childlike wonder to it. Really fun. I really can't stop playing that. It's just a really good way to end the song, especially on a very high note energetically. And the rest of the song, even with that like drop in there, never really lost its heart. I really do appreciate that the song didn't just decide to change the genre and switch how the sound was, because that took us from like a G down into, I think, more like up here in those flats, and it made it a little bit more heavy. I don't know if they used a G minor for that, but they might have just jumped it down to like an E flat. That would just kind of give you access to these like more, what would usually sound more like a sour relationship in the chords and notes there, but that's where metal tends to shine. So just shifting down a little bit, taking a gear back, and just playing that genre for a bit before heading back into the brighter sound. A really nice juxtaposition, a good clash of the tones there, and it just works out for that transition. So this one I really like. I like the other one too. I could do without the ending part personally, but I don't hate it. And then this one, I really like the energy of. Just overall, it feels more bright and fun to me. I'm not really comparing them, so to say, because I know they're not by the same people, but they are from the same grouping of music and from Paradigm Reboot. So kind of in a way they could be compared, but I don't think that's really doing either of their songs justice. So I'm not really going to bother comparing them. They're both good in their own rights, and they both have really good factors about them. I think the production value of the first song, personally, actually a little bit better than this one. This was fine too, but it's just, you know, everyone has a different flavor, and there's going to be a different final mix on it, final master. You're going to get different sounds, and that's entirely up to the taste of the people making it, the producers putting it together. So whatever that happens to be tends to hit different for other people. For me, the first song felt a little bit cleaner in the mix. For this one, was still really good, but it did miss a little bit of that beef that the other song had. So that's about all I gotta say on these ones. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to more stuff, drop them in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if, like Gub did, you want to guarantee that I listen to something, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, where you can force me to listen to something. It doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guarantee. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!